Before going further with the motive, I must first explain a couple of upcoming events. Surrogate court stages are: Step 1, pleading, a written statement that explains what happened and what you want the court to do, an objection. Step 2, discovery. Each side collects and shares information and documents about the case for both sides to understand the story. Step 3, pre-trial, the period of time where you prepare for trial. Step 4, trial. The time limit for this process to happen is no longer than 2 years from date of death. Stages of trial. Step 1, opening argument. Step 2, witness testimony and cross-examination. Step 3, closing argument. Step 4, jury deliberation. I have a timeline of events and trial strategy and process, and with that supporting documents and video spanning many, many years, allow me to share a portion of my timeline with you. And let's investigate motive 3, a history of violence. Our story will begin with a camping trip that was taken in July of 2018, which turned into a nightmare. Please join along. For the most part, camping is rest and relax time. Kick back around a fire, enjoy nature. For others, it's time to fish, go hiking, or explore the great outdoors. A mix of people seeking time away from the hustle and bustle of life. Wilderness camping adds danger and extremes, exotic animals, and views around every corner. But with any mix of people, you will always have those few who don't play well with others. And with the mix will come occasional circumstances that create issues. Allow me to retell you of a night, the night of July 28th, 2018, when a camping trip to the Moose River Plains turned into a nightmare. Not only will I reacquaint you with the original telling, I have also in my possession exclusive, newly discovered, never before heard, haunting and very disturbing audio recorded from that very night. So as with any camping trip, this story begins, we left fully loaded for the wilderness. However, shortly after our trip started, this happened. Listen to the audio.
See? I got the cop car.
So how's your day going?
Ma'am, ma'am.
The road trip began late in the day, which caused us to arrive at the Moose River Plains just before sunset. I had camped there often and advised Mark to pull into any available campsite, rest in the vehicle till sunrise, then go locate a camp. He had been drinking alcohol the whole trip, argued about stopping. Since leaving Canastota, he did not stop for fuel and was nearing empty from driving around in the dark in the woods. First looking for a campsite, then looking for a gas station. Ran out of fuel, attracted the police, continued to drink even through the traffic stop. The following day, the morning of July 28th, 2018, everyone got up. There was no mention of the night before. Breakfast was enjoyed. There were chats of upcoming activities and adventures, being excited for a hike, and Blue Mountain being so close. We wanted to go. Melanie opted out and stayed at camp. When we returned, Mark began drinking. Melanie called Mark aside, and for a while they stayed distant to us. Just before sunset, Melanie, who had been in the trailer, came out to the fire, asked Mark to come into the camper. He argued a bit but then followed. Once inside camper, after a short time, their quiet tone became an argument, which attracted Sean's curiosity, and so he went in. Next thing you know, the door to the camper is ejected right off the hinges. My son, sleeping in a tent right outside the camper door, the door clipping the corner of the tent. Seeing the door fly, I ran the short distance to the tent. It seemed like forever. Before getting to the tent, I saw Kyle exiting it, so I detoured. When I entered the camper, Mark was on top of Sean, strangling him. Melanie was standing next to the bed, fidgeting. I knocked Mark off of Sean, then got on the bed on top of Mark, and was able to land 2 solid blows to Mark's face before being yanked off of Mark by Sean. I fell to the floor, where I was then forced out of the camper. When I left, Mark regained himself. Here is the recorded audio of the violence that occurred after I left the trailer.
I did nothing wrong tonight.
You did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Get your ass out of my campsite.
I'm looking for my purse.
Fuck your purse. I don't care about your purse.
I know you don't care about anything.
Leave. Goodbye.
You were beating your kid up.
Goodbye.
You hit me, pulled me by the head of the hair. You
Goodbye,
just called
leave.
my nephew a
Goodbye.
scumbag.
Leave. Please, goodbye. Nobody wants to hear your bullshit. Okay? You are a fucking liar.
Stop.
You are a fucking liar.
Good, stop.
Oh, you're gonna
Get
hit
away
me?
from me.
Oh, you wanna hit me?
Stop.
Okay. Go ahead.
You stop me. I can defend myself.
Go ahead.
And I will defend myself. You've hit me
Go
enough
ahead.
that I need to defend
Go
myself.
ahead. I never hit you once.
Dad, stop.
Ever.
Yeah, like you
Goodbye.
didn't hit your kid tonight.
Goodbye, scumbag. Goodbye.
You're a scumbag.
Goodbye, whorebag. Sleep in the tent.
You need to
Sleep in the
stop.
tent.
You need to stop.
Sleep in the tent.
You need to lay down and go to sleep.
Get your fucking ass away.
Lay down and go to
Dad,
sleep.
please go to sleep.
I do not want you in my life ever again. Ever again.
Fine.
You
Lay
prove
down
it.
and go to sleep.
Then sleep in the tent and leave me
I'm
alone.
not sleeping anywhere.
Goodbye. Leave me
I'm
alone.
waiting until morning
Leave me alone.
so we can all leave.
I don't want to talk to you. Leave me
I'm
alone.
calling Karen Maris tomorrow to tell her how great of a father you are.
Goodbye. You ain't got shit.
There's Mark. The following day, he laid around, kept his face covered, kept pretty much out of sight. There was the recorded live audio of the camping trip, which turned to a nightmare, and that you heard it exclusively here, newly discovered. Until the next video, I'm out of here. Mark claimed in the audio he never hit Melanie before. That's entirely not true. Does anyone know what the numbers at the bottom of a photo signify? They represent the date and time photo was taken. Here is a photo taken before the camping trip. It shows that the violence was already going on. When listening to the voices on the camping trip audio, pay attention to Melanie's voice. Notice how emotionless it is, how empty. Also notice that after being choked and punched, she says nothing to Sean, and that while this event was occurring, she was worried only about her purse. After the camp trip in 2018, and before arriving at 9000 Kennedy Lane in March 2019, the violence continued at a steady pace. Let's listen.
Go ahead, call. You were gonna
Get
leave.
off
You were
me.
gonna leave.
Get off me.
You were gonna leave.
Stop touching me. Stop touching me.
I promise you, you're gonna leave.
In fact, violence so bad, it's your blood. The violence even included animals.
Yeah, everybody knows that I'm with an abusive drunk that I should have left a long time ago.
Everybody knows that about you. You're a
To my poor dog.
And for the kicker of the story, here she says to take her to her father's, directly following a fight.
You're a scumbag. Leave my house.
You can take me to my dad's in the morning. I told you that. I don't have any way to get there.
Go to your dad's.
And I want my...
Just think, all that violence from an abusive relationship moved with Melanie to her father's house. So in conclusion, and my final thoughts, it's clear Melanie has mental issues I discovered to be serious in 2016, but also had suspicions of much earlier in life. Melanie has a history of abusive and violent relationships. Her own children would move out of her home to relocate to their dad's, claiming she was hard to live with and confrontational. When on a trip to Virginia Beach, she told me she was suspended from work for suicide problems. Then later that week asked me to help her lead our mother to her death. Our helpless mother, who Melanie claimed was a burden. When I said no, she turned her anger on Kyle being defenseless, and knowing that if she got angry with me, I wasn't going to tolerate it. I as well stepped in to end her tirade with Kyle. When Melanie arrived at 9000 Kennedy Lane in March 2019, she focused her anger on myself. She needed me out of the house. To do this after the cop in court threat did not work, she threatened to poison Kyle and I, to make us sick, or to kill us. After we were forced out, she then stopped Dad's friends from visiting, Mabel Condon, Anna Cola. Anna was bitten by one of Melanie's dogs trying to visit. When she made sure no one could come to the house, the isolation and torture of my father began, to the extreme that Melanie forced his hand to disinherit me. There is no doubt in my mind that Melanie's hate for me is what motivated her. I know for a fact there are certain people with information concerning the activities that led up to the changing of the will, and even know the will to have been forced. The time for you to be hiding is almost up. There is a discovery upcoming, fact-finding, witnesses, statements, affidavits, not to mention a trial as well. My objections have been filed with the court. Throughout this video, I've shown the documents that on my own have obtained and completed. I will be moving to the discovery stage soon. Guess I'm not a crazy old man, huh? Disclaimer: I will not be revealing the source of the photo, the audio, or the video footage I have acquired. So please, do not ask. Video over.